Now, I was wearing a glove off camera, and I kept slipping it off whenever I turned the camera back on. That's because it was one of the noisier gloves that I've talked about in the past. And I thought, well, why don't I just put on the quiet glove? I don't like the oils of my hands to come into contact with the vinyl as I'm working on it, because I don't want that to put oil onto the vinyl and cause the paint not to stick. Anyway, I thought I'd finish up this little section right here on camera, just so that you can see the strokes needed for that. Kind of bringing this forward and down to the side. Little swirlies here, but yet I'm still bringing these hairs in and over. And I keep switching my direction just to get a nice look there. Later on, when I bring in the other color, it will be very dramatic. Now, unfortunately, this baby, I didn't want a really dark head of hair, so his hair is going to remain pretty much the color of his eyebrows there. I'm quite pleased with the brown color, though, that I've created with the dark ethnic color and the blue undertone color. It's a nice brown. It was quite easy to do. Two little swirls. You don't really want your lines to be absolutely straight lines. You want them to go this way and that way. And of course, it's going to be a little bit different with every doll head that you paint, because babies all have different styles of hair and it grows different directions. I love how soft that's looking. I like to fill this in right here a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to call that side good for right now. And I'll go back and work on the other side. Okay, I'm coming around the back here on the side that I've got slightly painted. And I wanted to point out that as you come down from the top of the head, which I will fill this in more in a bit, the hair kind of grows down and then back towards the ear. So the movements are going to be, you know, something like that. And they could gather down here and create a thicker hair if you want to. A lot of times babies will be real thick down in that area, but they may not have as much up here. And if your brush starts to misbehave, by all means, rinse it off and blot it off on your towel. And so I'm just adding some different shapes and kind of bringing that in. I'll go back up here and fill this in a little bit. Again, I'm going to be bringing it. Now, is this hair at the top? Oops, that's too much. As this hair at the top comes around, it's going to eventually start to go out further. and then down in, just like that. And so this is all going to about swirl back in there, while this hair that I'll be painting is going to come down towards this other, behind the other ear. I have one, I don't have one specific way that I do the hair, like do this section first, do that section next. I just kind of keep moving around as I get the feel for how the hair is growing. And so I've come around and started doing a little bit of work here. So I'm bringing it from the crown and bringing it over, and then it's going to drop down there, but this is going to keep coming a little bit more forward until these hairs are going to be following kind of that direction and then down towards the ear. It's just a process of filling things in and just keeping those strokes small and not all going in the same exact pattern. Same way, but then I can bring some of these in and hook them up with these hairs. I'm just going to keep working on that for a bit, filling in all this, bringing it around to this side eventually. Okay, show you the direction that this is going. So I'm starting to bring this down. This is going to all point down in this area. And I'll bring some very fine feathery hairs in this area. Now if you wanted to, you could leave this section or somewhere, you know, whatever looks right on the doll that you're working on, kind of like the bald rubbed off section. And what you would do is avoid that section with these thicker strokes of hair that I have here and make them extremely light, barely there, and then bring in the second color that I'm going to show you later and draw some more fuzzy hairs in there, and then bring the thicker hairs down at the nape of the neck so that that area in there would be the bald spot. I decided not to do it on this baby, just to show you the full direction that the hair is going to go. A little bit too much paint on my brush there. Just barely blot it, make those a little bit lighter. Just little tiny strokes here. And I'll fill some of that in here too, right here with some finer strokes. Okay, I'm starting to feel like my paint has thickened up a little bit while I've been working on this head. I'll add 1, 2 more drops of water. It's one thing that I've noticed about the Art and Magic waterborne air dry paints is that they do get thicker in the palette a lot quicker than other air dry paints that I've used. But that's not a problem, just add a little bit more water and you're good to go. Okay, I'm going to continue to bring this down and around the ear and through here.